Hello everyone, my name is Wangzeli. This is my partner xiayi, and the topic of presentation today is response strategy for the after-school tutoring center in updating to China double reduction policy. Today, we will talk about 5 parts. The first part is abstract. The second part is introduction. The third part is research, objectives, and question. The first part is literature review. The first part is methodologies. Now, let's look at the first part. In recent years, the Chinese government has introduced a series of double reduction policy aimed at reducing the academic burden of students at compulsory education level. At the same time, this policy has inhibited the development of the education industry. In this paper, we examine the positive and negative effect of the double reduction policy on the extracurricular education sectors. We also look at the strategies, strengths, and weaknesses of after-school centers in the context of Chinese double reduction policy, how to find the most appropriate coping strategies of helping the health development of after-school tutoring centers is the key to this paper's research. Next one, introduction. The introduction consists of the 5 parts. The first part describes background of the introduction of the Chinese double reduction policy in 2021, and the second part describes the definition of the after-school tutoring center. The third part describes types of subjects in after-school tutoring center. The first part describes advantage and disadvantage of after-school tutorial center. The last part describes statement of the problem. Next one. Research, objective, and question. Under the environment of the Chinese double reduction policy, after-school tutoring center have been directly affected. This study hopes to explore and the impact of the double reduction policy on after-school tutoring center and how to this after-school tutoring center rebound of the Chinese double reduction policy and try to find appropriate coping strategies to help after-school tutoring center development health. The research questions of this study are the following. Number 1. What are the positive effects of the double reduction policy and after-school tutoring center? Number 2. What are the negative effects of the double reduction policy on the after-school tutoring center? Number 3. What are the coping strategies of existing after-school tutoring center? Number 4. What are the pros and cons of these coping strategies? Now, let me, my partner, introduce the rest of the content.
Hello, Doctor. I'm xiayi. My part is literature review and methodology. About the literature review, I searched some existing literature to support our research. The structure of my literature review has four main points. The first one, the past educational policy in China and the double reduction policy. Number two, the harsh environment faced by after-school tutoring centers. The third one, existing coping strategies of after-school tutoring centers. The last one, the future development trade of after-school tutoring centers. I will talk it one by one briefly. The first one, the past educational policy in China and double reduction policy. 30 years after China's reform, private education is an important innovation in the field of education. After May 1985, the CPC Central Committee issued the decision on reform of the education system, proposing to encourage collectives, individuals, and other social forces to run schools. Since then, various social forces entered the field of education, and our country gradually formed a multi-level, multi-type, and large amount private education system. But since 2003, policy on private education has turned from actively encouraging into strengthening standardization. In July 2021, China's double reduction policy introduced by the government. The goal of this policy is to ease students' bundle of heavy homework and after-school tutoring. So this policy this new policy has very strict restrictions on after-school tutoring centers. The second and third one, the harsh environment. As Ban Ruwu claimed, China's new policy toward after-school tutoring impacts the industry rapidly. The capital exited the fields overnight. The double reduction policy clearly stipulates that subject training for compulsory education, preschool children, and regular senior high school students is illegal, and will be cleaned up. After-school tutoring centers that carry out training activities without permission should be punished, and punished very seriously. The existing coping strategies of after-school tutoring centers. Under the background of this policy, some industry giants, the big centers, have transformed to quality education and training, or adult education and vocational education. And some education and training centers with more than 10 years of history have declared bankruptcy, just disappeared. The future development, last one, the future development change of after-school tutoring centers. According to Ma Yusan's article, it mainly describes the future development potential of quality education. According to Liu Yang's journal, there is also a new chain of money flowing to foreign markets in the education industry. About the, about the methodology, the research design. This research used a qualitative method. An interview approach was adapted. Since this research aims to study the coping strategies of after-school tutoring centers under the double reduction policy. So, 5 operators of after-school tutoring centers in Yintan City, Jiangxi Province, China, will be my respondents. About data collection. The data in this work consists of 3 parts according to the 3 parts in interview questions. The first part consists of questions about the status of the after-school tutoring centers before and after the double reduction policy, such as the number of the employees, operation scale, income of the centers. And the second part consists of questions about the impacts on after-school tutoring centers in the context of China's double reduction policy. The third part consists of questions which related to the strategies that the after-school tutoring centers react to China's double reduction policy and evaluate the effectiveness of these strategies. The whole interview lasts about 30 to 45 minutes via WeChat video. And the data analysis. In this study, the data collected will use a vivo to analysis. That's all of our presentation. Thank you.